All right, so welcome in everyone joining us for this deep dive into a particular episode that you guys have been wanting us to really dig into for quite a while now.
That's right, and it's a good one.
Yes. So we're not just going to kind of like talk about the basic plot points here. We're going to really like get into...
Kind of nitty-gritty.
Yeah, all the creepy, crawly behind-the-scenes stuff, the making of all of it.
It's a very interesting one visually and story-wise.
Absolutely. So we are going to go back in time to September 23, 1994.
Oh, yeah.
The night that the X-Files aired this episode for the first time.
Season 2, Episode 2.
Yes, exactly. The host.
The host, that's right.
And you guys have provided us with a ton of great resources, episode synopsis, behind-the-scenes facts, kind of like, you know, how it was perceived at the time, you know, critically and by fans and stuff like that.
Yeah, some really cool stuff in there.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of like put it all together and look at this with a sense of both intrigue and, I don't know, a little bit of like late 20th century nostalgia as we go through this.
Let's dim the lights a little bit here and set the mood right.
That's right. So we're going back. Yeah, we're going to go back and I guess first of all, we're going to kind of like go through the actual plot of the story itself, right? And then we'll get into all the juicy behind the scenes stuff after that.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so this episode, like many X-Files episodes, it kind of just throws us right in, right?
Oh, yeah, it dumps us right in the thick of it right away. Yeah.
So we're on a Russian freighter, somewhere off the coast of New Jersey, and...
It's not a pretty picture, is it?
No, it's not pretty at all. So a crewman, you know, has to go into the septic system to try to fix a toilet.
Right, a clogged toilet.
Yeah,
this is like every homeowner's nightmare.
It is, yeah, but it's even worse than that because something gets him.
Oh, yeah, he's down there working away and suddenly he's being dragged.
Yeah, and there's like, you know, that whole scene is so claustrophobic, you know.
Yelling's a panic.
Yeah, it's dark, it's cramped, and it's really effective.
Mm-hmm. It really sets the tone for the whole episode.
Right, so they can't pull him out, and so what do?
Well, the engineer gives that awful order to flush the tanks.
Yeah, it's like the only thing they can think to do in that moment, but...
You know, just thinking about it.
No.
Horrible.
Right, so they do that, and of course we don't know what happened to this crewman.
Dimitri,
yes.
You don't know what happened to him at this point, but we have a feeling it wasn't good.
Yeah, all right. So then we cut to a few days later, and we're in the Newark sewers.
Ah, yes, the glamorous Newark sewers.
And, well, actually, it's the Passaic River, I think. But...
Okay, right, the Passaic River, but it's all connected to the sewer system, right?
Yeah.
So it's all kind of the same world down there, this world of, you know, grime and darkness.
Yeah, and so Dimitri's body is found.
And it's not a pretty sight, let's just say that.
No, it has been partially devoured.
Yeah, it's pretty clear something has been feeding on him.
So this is where Mulder comes in.
Right, of course, because at this point the X-Files are closed.
Right, so he's kind of like, he's given this case, he's like, why is this my case? This is just like some, you know...
Like a regular murder case.
Yeah.
And of course, he thinks that Skinner is maybe just trying to distract him, to keep him busy. Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe even like, you know, mess with him.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So he actually talks to Scully about it, and he even, you know, thinks about quitting the FBI.
Wow, really?
Yeah. He's pretty disillusioned at this point, you know?
You can really feel his frustration.
Yeah, like his life's work is gone. He doesn't, you know, what to do with himself.
Right. Well, I mean, I can understand that.
But Scully, you know, she starts examining Dimitri's body and she's like, wait a minute, this is not normal.
Yeah, she's the one who finds that Russian tattoo, right?
Yes, which connects him back to the freighter.
The plot thickens.
But that's not even the weirdest thing she finds.
What could be weirder than a Russian tattoo in a half-eaten body in the sewer?
Well, she finds a fluke worm.
A fluke worm? What is that exactly?
Well, it's a type of parasitic worm, and it was inside his liver.
Ew, that is so gross.
I know, right? So it's at this point that it's like, okay, this is not just some, you know, regular murder.
Just something else going on here.
Something very strange. And then, you know, while they're trying to figure that out, guess what happens?
What happened?
Another attack.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Is it another crewman?
No, this time it's a sanitation worker named Craig.
Okay, so it's not just confined to the freighter anymore.
Right, and he's working in the sewers, and he gets pulled under the water.
Just like Dimitri.
Just like Dimitri, yeah. And when they find him, he has this weird wound on his back.
What kind of wound?
Like a four-pointed wound.
Four-pointed? That sounds almost like...
I know, it's like something bit him.
Right.
But something with like a weird-shaped mouth.
That is so creepy.
I know, right? And then Mulder gets this weird phone call.
Oh, the mysterious phone call. A classic X-Files trope.
It is, right? And it's from someone who says that they have a friend at the FBI.
Okay, so maybe he does have an ally somewhere. Yeah, and the caller is kind of cryptic, but they basically tell Mulder that, he's on the right track. He needs to keep going.
Interesting. So there are forces at play behind the scenes.
Yes,
I
definitely.
love that element of the show.
Meanwhile, Scully is back in the lab, and she makes a connection.
What kind of connection?
She realizes that the mouth parts of the flukeworm she took out of Dimitri, even though it was like way smaller,
Right.
matched the shape of the wound on Craig's back.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So maybe whatever got Dimitri also got Craig.
yeah, and maybe it grew, or maybe there's like a bigger one out there.
That's a terrifying thought.
Right, and then things get even worse because Craig dies.
Oh no, how?
He's in the shower at home.
He should be safe there, right?
You would think so.
But,
But he starts coughing up blood,
oh God.
and guess what comes out of his mouth?
No, don't tell me.
Another fluke worm.
Oh God, that is so awful.
I know, it's so gross and disturbing,
Yeah.
and at that point, it's like, okay.
It's just a serious... Yeah, Mulder has to figure out what's going on fast.
So what does he do?
Well, he goes to the sewage treatment plant.
Of course he does.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right?
Right, follow the trail of slime.
Yeah, and he meets the foreman there, a guy named Ray,
Okay.
and they go looking for whatever it is that's down there.
So they're going into the sewers.
Yes, and that's when they see it.
The fluke worm?
Well, not exactly a fluke worm, but something much bigger.
Oh no, what is it?
It's humanoid, but it's all like slick and slimy,
Oh God.
and it has this huge gaping mouth.
Like a fluke worm's mouth?
Yeah, it's basically a giant fluke worm man.
This is so disturbing.
I know, it's like right out of a nightmare.
And they just stumble upon it?
Well, it's actually stuck in one of the pipes.
Oh, okay, so at least it's trapped.
For now.
That doesn't sound good.
So while Mulder is, dealing with this thing, Scully's still doing her research.
Right, always the scientist,
And she gets this newspaper article in the mail.
just out of the blue.
Pretty much, yeah. And it identifies Dimitri.
The crewman for the beginning.
Yes, and it gives them all the information they need to, like, confirm his identity and, where he came from.
So it's like someone is feeding them information.
Yes, definitely. It's like someone's trying to help them or maybe manipulate them.
Classic X-Files.
So now both Mulder and Scully have a clearer picture of what's going on.
Okay, so they know who Dimitri is. They know there's this giant fluke worm creature thing.
Yeah, and they go to observe it.
Absurd. Where is it being held?
Well, they took it to a psychiatric facility.
A psychiatric facility, seriously.
I know, it's kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly mentally ill.
Yeah, but I guess they didn't know what else to do with it.
Right, so they're observing it. What are they seeing?
Well, they're noticing that it doesn't seem to have a gender.
That's strange.
Yeah, and that it's clearly parasitic.
I mean, we kind of knew that already.
Right, but they're also seeing that it has like some primate characteristics.
So it's like a weird hybrid of human and worm.
Yes, it's very unsettling.
It's like evolution gone wrong.
And that's when Mulder goes to talk to Skinner.
A confrontation time.
Yes, because Skinner wants to treat this thing like a human.
Like a mentally disturbed individual.
Right, which Mulder thinks is absolutely crazy.
Well, yeah.
He's like, come on, this is a monster.
This thing ate a guy in the shower.
Exactly, and Mulder's just so frustrated, because he feels like if the X-Files were still open, they could have stopped this.
He blames Skinner for Craig's death.
Yeah, he does.
Wow, that's intense.
It is, but it shows how much Mulder believes in what he's doing.
Right, he truly believes that the X-Files are important.
But anyway, as they're arguing, guess what happens?
The fluke worm man escapes.
Yes!
Oh.
They're transporting it and it breaks free.
How does that even happen?
Well, it's strong and slippery, and I don't think they were really prepared for it.
Of course not.
And the ambulance driver ends up dead.
Oh, God, this is a disaster.
It is, and the Flukeman disappears.
So now they have this giant worm monster on the loose.
Yeah, and they have no idea where it went. But then they find it in a porta potty.
Put in a porta potty?
Yeah, I know, it's kind of hilarious.
It is, but also terrifying.
Right, because
Yeah.
it's like this terrifying monster just hiding in plain sight.
And where do they take a porta potty?
To be emptied into a septic truck.
Oh, no, so it's on the move again.
Yeah, and while all this is happening, Mulder gets another phone call.
From his mysterious friend.
Yes, and this time the caller is more direct. They tell Mulder that his work is important.
Okay, so they're definitely trying to encourage him.
Yeah, and they even hint that the X-Files might be reopened.
Interesting.
So Mulder's like, back on his game.
Revitalized.
Yes. And meanwhile, Scully makes a major discovery.
How about the fluke worm?
Yeah, she realizes that the one she found in Dimitri wasn't an adult.
It was a larva.
Yes. Which means that the fluke man can reproduce asexually.
Oh my God. So there could be more.
Exactly. It's a horrifying thought.
It's like a nightmare scenario.
So now they have to stop this thing before it can create more of itself.
High stakes.
So they track it back to the sewage treatment plant.
Of course, back to where it all began.
Right. And they think that it's trying to get to the harbor.
To escape?
Yeah. And they find it in an overflow pipe.
So it's cornered.
And there's a big fight.
A fight with the Flukeman.
Yeah. The foreman Ray gets attacked.
Oh, no.
And Mulder ends up killing the Flukeman.
How does he do that?
Well, he uses a sewer grate to, like, bisect it.
Oh, my God, that's brutal.
It is, but it gets the job done.
So the threat is over.
Well, not exactly, because at the very end of the episode,
What happens?
we see the Flukeman's eyes open.
Oh, wait.
Yes, in the storm drains beneath Newark.
So it might still be alive.
Maybe it survived, or maybe it's like a new one.
But God, that is so creepy.
You know, it's that classic X-Files ending that leaves you feeling uneasy.
Yeah, it's like the nightmare never really ends.
So that's the story of the host, but now let's get into the really interesting stuff.
The behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yes, because there are some really crazy details about how this episode was made.
I can't wait to hear them.
Okay, so first of all, the actor who played the Flukeman.
Yeah, who was that poor soul?
Well, it was Darren Morgan,
Darren Morgan as in,
Glenn Morgan's brother.
no way, the writer's brother.
Yes, and get this, Darren Morgan later became a writer for the X-Files himself.
You're kidding?
Nope, he wrote some of the most famous episodes,
Like, which ones?
like Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose and Jose Chung's From Outer Space.
Those are classics.
I know, right? So the guy who played the disgusting sewer monster went on to write some of the funniest and most meta episodes.
That is so weird.
I know, it's like a total fluke.
Uh-huh. I see what you did there.
But anyway, it's just a really strange coincidence.
Yeah. So how did they even cast him in the first place?
I guess he was just available and willing.
Willing to wear that suit.
Well, speaking of the suit, that's another interesting story.
Oh, yeah. What about it?
Well, it was made out of thick latex.
Latex. That sounds uncomfortable.
Oh, it took hours to put on, and Darren Morgan has said that it was incredibly hot and sweaty and just generally awful to wear. Yeah, he's joked about, like, questioning his life choices while he was in that thing.
I can imagine.
And on top of that, the suit was so delicate that it would dissolve in water.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, so the special effects team had to rebuild it every day.
Oh my God, that sounds like a nightmare.
It was a lot of work, but I guess that's what they had to do back then to create these realistic creatures.
Yeah, before CGI.
And you know what else is crazy?
What?
Chris Carter wrote this episode in, like, no time.
Really? Like how fast?
Like, super fast. He basically had to come up with a filler episode.
A filler episode?
Yeah, because they were still figuring out the mythology for the season.
So this iconic monster was just like an afterthought.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's wild.
It is, right? You wouldn't know it from watching it.
No, it's such a well-made episode.
Yeah, it's really effective, and the Flukeman is so memorable.
Yeah, it's one of the most iconic X-Files monsters.
But it almost didn't happen.
Seriously.
Yeah, originally they were going to kill it off completely.
Like no ambiguity.
No, it was going to be destroyed by the sewage system.
But they changed their minds.
Yeah, the producers decided to leave the ending open.
Which is a classic X-Files move.
Right, it keeps you guessing.
And it makes it scarier.
Definitely. And it's also worth mentioning that at this point in the series, Mulder and Scully were still kind of separated.
Oh, right, because of the X-Files being shut down?
Yeah, so in this episode, they're mostly working independently.
Which is different from their usual dynamic.
Yeah, it adds to the sense of isolation and loneliness.
Yeah, Mulder's all alone down in the sewers.
Yeah, it's not a good place to be alone.
Especially with a flukeworm man on the loose.
And speaking of the Flukeman, its design was actually inspired by some classic horror movies.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, there's definitely some creature from the Black Lagoon in there.
I can see that.
And the whole body horror aspect is very David Cronenberg.
Right. It's like a fusion of classic monster tropes.
Yeah, and it works really well.
It's both familiar and totally unique.
And it's stuck with people.
Yeah, the Flukeman is still one of the most talked about X-Files monsters.
Even though it only appeared in one episode.
It made a big impact.
It did. And you know what's really creepy?
Right.
There was a real-life case in China in 2014
Oh, no.
where a man was found with parasitic worms.
Like the Flukeman.
Yeah, they looked a lot like it, and it was after he ate undercooked fish.
Oh, God, that is so gross.
I know, it's like something right out of the X-Files.
It makes you wonder what else is out there.
That's right. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the host,
It's been a wild ride.
it has. We've gone from the sewers of Newark to the behind-the-scenes secrets of Hollywood.
Yeah, we've learned a lot about parasitic worms,
Too much, maybe.
but it's all been fascinating.
Yeah, and I think the big question we're left with is why does the Flukeman still resonate with us?
Yeah, why is it so scary?
I think it's because it taps into some of our deepest fears.
Fears of the unknown, of contamination.
Yeah. And it's a reminder that sometimes the scariest things are the ones that are closest to reality.
The things that could actually happen.
So keep that in mind as you continue exploring the world of the X-Files.
The truth is out there.
And it might be lurking in your toilet.
Okay. That's enough nightmare fuel for one day.
Yeah, I think so too. Thanks for joining us.
See ya.